Namaste, namaste, and welcome to Monday Midday Chair Yoga. I hope that you're feeling full of beans this week. But if you're not, don't worry, by the end of this session, you will be. This week, we're going to use a couple of pieces of equipment. So a belt or anything that will give you a little bit of length, like a scarf or a tea towel. And also, we're going to use a little block. But if you don't have one of these, a cushion, anything that's relatively light that you can hold quite easily, we're actually going to just press it to the side of the seat. So we don't need it to stand on. This week we will also be using our chairs. We'll put our feet up on the chair. So if you think that this motion is a little bit too big for your hips, then perhaps invest in a small stool, which would be quite good. Anything that lifts the foot, or a couple of stacked blocks, or a stack of books that would give you that sort of height, the height that suits your hips. So let's begin by coming into our seated pose. We want to sit close to the front of the chair so that we can sit tall, relax the arms, maybe close the eyes or gaze gently downward if you prefer. Think about gently lengthening the back of the body to find a little bit of lift, maybe even feeling a little bit of space underneath the bottom of the ribs and the bottom of the torso. Taking this moment to arrive in your yoga time and space. Noticing how your body feels in this moment. We usually hear all of the parts of the body that speak loudly because they're having a bit of stiffness or pain or tension or other discomfort. And it's okay to allow them to talk and to listen and be aware of practicing mindfully around those spaces throughout the class. But also noticing at least one part of the body that feels really peaceful and spacious and at ease. And if you can, notice more than one of these places. Allow those places of ease to expand, touching other parts of the body, their effect of releasing tension, rippling out from their centers. And perhaps as you notice that sense of ease, you can feel your breath naturally slowing, deepening, as that sense of spaciousness and calm moves from the body into the breath. Perhaps taking some longer, slower breaths now. Feeling the body lift as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, maybe just gently engaging across the belly muscles to exhale completely. Soften the belly to breathe deeply into the sides of the body, the back and the chest. A long, slow breath out, engaging across your navel to exhale completely. Soft in the belly to breathe into the rib cage, the collarbones, the shoulder blades. Long, slow breath out, exhaling fully. Taking a few more of these deeper breaths in your own time. Filling your body with prana, energy, vitality. Breathing purposefully in this way enhances our mental clarity, our focus as well. At the end of your next exhalation, simply allowing your breath to fall into its natural rhythm and fall into quietness. We're going to gently blink the eyes open, allow the arms to hang at the sides, and do a few shoulder rolls. We're just beginning movement. It's okay to feel a bit creaky or stiff. It's not a problem at all. We will feel better by the end of the class. Let's roll also in the opposite direction. And relaxing the arms. You can leave them hanging, relax them wherever they're comfortable. And we're going to come to focusing on some movements of the head. So first we need to establish the head right over the body. So it's quite common these days for people to have a little protrusion of the chin or a jutting forward of the chin. We want to draw the head back so that it's centered over the neck and over the top of the torso, instead of in front or behind. So let's just glide the chin forward and feel what happens in the back of the body, the back of the neck, and then glide the chin back to feel what happens in the front of the body. So as you come forward, it's common to feel the muscles of your upper back switching on, gripping hard to hold the weight of the head in front of the body. And as you come back, you can feel that same gripping across the chest and maybe the front of the neck. What we want to do is find that space where the head is naturally centered and the body, particularly the upper back and chest, is calm. It's not more active than it needs to be. And then here, we're going to make the smallest possible nodding motions. So a little bit down, a little bit up with the chin. Just really, really small. You might not even be able to see my head moving on the screen. It's that small, just really, really tiny. And here we're lubricating the joint of the where the skull articulates with the first vertebra in the neck. And this is the motion that it makes. This gentle nodding without the rest of the neck bending, just that one. Lovely job. And then we'll come back to the center and we're going to make small turns of the head from side to side. Little turn of the chin from side to side. Same thing, quite subtle, quite small, but keeping the head in that centered position. And then we'll come to center. And now we're going to glide the chin to the right and glide the chin to the left. Chin parallel to the floor, a little bit like an Egyptian dance or an Indian dance. A little bit from side to side, this gliding motion, trying not to move very much in the rest of the neck, but just feeling that gentle motion. It's not really that gentle, it's just a small motion. There we are. Very good. And then we're going to come back to the center and we're going to move the head in a circle. So as if we were tracing the nose around the face of a clock in front of us, just making that circular motion. Going in the same direction for now, we'll do 2 more in this direction. Again, trying to keep the head centered over the body so that the upper back and chest are quite passive. When you're ready, circling 5 times in the other direction as well. And so here we're looking for the neck movements to be supported, but also not to strain the rest of the body. Let's do 2 more in this direction. Excuse me. Now I can't remember how many we've done, so I'm going to do a quick extra one. Very good. And then coming back to center and stillness, we're going to take the right ear towards the right shoulder, just going to wherever is naturally comfortable to go, and back to the center, and left ear to left shoulder. And then back to the center, right ear to right shoulder, returning to the center, and left ear to left shoulder. Returning to center. Here we're going to pause and take hold of our Blocks. Now I've got this really light block, and something light is nice. Could be a cushion, something else. We're going to pop that on the left-hand side of the seat and just press it to either towards your body or towards the chair gently with your left arm. And then re-establish that upward lift, that length in the back of the neck. So with a gentle press of the block or cushion towards the body, with the left hand, we're going to take the head to the right. So right ear to right shoulder. And then here we can explore that space. So hopefully it feels like a really nice lengthened position. And we can explore perhaps a gentle lift and lower of the chin. We want it to be quite a subtle movement up and down, just making sure that that feels good in the body. Nice and slow. You can make the movements a little bigger or longer if you wish to, if that feels available to the neck, but don't focus too much on lifting or lifting the chin as in taking the head back. When you're ready, we're going to come back to that sideways tilt and then back to center, and just bring the block onto the lap and roll your shoulders a little bit here in the middle. Very nice. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Block pressed against the right-hand side of the chair or the body, and just gently pressed in. Re-establish your uprightness, and then left ear to left shoulder. That feels great on this side. Perhaps you might like to stay if you've got a point that feels like it's a really lovely stretch, but not too much, not too intense. Or if you want to move a little bit more, you can begin with a very small lift and lower of the chin. And if you wish to, you can make those movements a little bit larger or longer. But doing what feels the best thing for your body to do in this moment. Might be different on one side than the other. Let's just do one more. Up and down. Bringing your head to that neutral sideways tilt, and then head to center, releasing your block, placing it on your lap, giving your shoulders a little bit of a roll, and feel free to move the body in any way that feels good if you need to release something. I'm going to just move those blocks a little bit out of the way and pop this one down so I can establish a nice wide stance on the floor with quite a lot of the buttocks, maybe all of the buttocks and a little bit of the upper thigh resting onto the seat, and then taking the arms nice and wide. We're going to round forward, bringing the palms towards each other, maybe even crossing the arms over the body, and then open the chest, taking the arms nice and wide, maybe lifting the chin just a little, taking the arms back as far as feels good. Let's round forward. Cross the arms the opposite way if you can. Don't worry if that feels like too much to coordinate. Let's open the front of the body, press into the feet, move the arms back. The head moving as the neck moves naturally at the end of the spine. So not leading the movement, but just following whatever the upper back and chest do, really. Rounding forward. Scooping the belly in and then opening wide. Let's just do one more. Rounding forward. And opening wide. And as you open wide, come to an upright space, press the arms away from each other and float the arms down to the floor. And then roll the shoulders. That should feel really like a lovely way to release the effort made in the upper back. And now we're going to take our awareness into the whole spine as a unit, hands onto the knees, firm in the belly, and imagine you're moving your head in a circle around your hips or around the base of the spine. So we're leaning back a little bit, leaning to the right, leaning forward, leaning to the left. So just moving in a circle, nice and firm, feet on the floor, nice and firm through the belly muscles, and allowing your head and neck to move naturally at the end of the spine. So not trying to move the chin or the head in any strange ways. When you're ready, you can go in the opposite direction as well. Nice little stirring of the spine. As we do this, I'm beginning to warm up, so you guys keep going. And I'll just pop this to one side. Woohoo! Very good. So we're using the tummy muscles. We're just allowing that rocking and rolling motion across the buttocks. And then we're going to come back to center. And here in the center, we're going to take our awareness down to the part of the torso below the waist. And we're going to tuck the tailbone under and then roll the opposite way. So it's as if you were flattening out the curve of the spine, scooping the belly in, and then accentuating that curve in the low back and allowing the belly to come forward, but still keeping the belly muscles firm. So rolling backwards and forwards. There's not very much happening above the waist. Perhaps a gentle movement of the low ribs, but not a rounding through the upper back as well. So just the low back. Very nice. And the low part of the torso. And then we're going to come back to center, give the shoulders a little bit of a roll. We're going to take a few deep breaths here. So nice cleansing breath, breathing in, taking the arms around the body and up, breathing out, drawing the palms together at the center of the chest. One more like that. Breathing in, take the arms around the body and up. Breathing out, palms together at the center of the chest. Wonderful stuff. Let us come back to those circular movements that we made at the beginning, but this time with the hands on the knees, we're going to allow the shoulders to get involved. So start by taking the right shoulder towards the left knee, and then bringing the chest forward, left shoulder to right knee, and then leaning back away to open the chest up towards the ceiling, right shoulder to left knee, left shoulder to right knee. Leaning away to open up the chest. Let us do 3 more in this direction. Again, the head and neck just behaving as they would naturally at the end of the spine, without cranking the chin up. And then from this open position, going the opposite way. Left shoulder to right knee, right shoulder towards left knee, and then opening up. Lovely. A little bit more of a forward bend happening. And that wonderful wriggling through the spine. And I think we've got 1 more to go in this direction. Coming back to the center, relaxing the arms, just giving the shoulders a little wriggle, maybe a gentle lift and lower, like a shrugging of the shoulders, if that feels good. Aces. Super stuff. So from here, we're going to do a little side bending. So we're still seated, which is lovely. We don't often do a class where we spend as long seated, but we are today. And we can use either the sides of our seats or our hands on our hips or waist to provide a little bit of support. So we're going to take the right hand to wherever is comfortable on the right side of the body, and then lift the left arm up and allow that movement to carry us over to a side bend to the right. And then we're going to come back to the center. And as we come back to the center, just turn your palm and float your arm down to your side. So we're reaching up, palm turned up, and then we reach over to that right side, nice and firm in the belly and the feet, coming back to an upright position, turning the left palm to face down as the left arm comes down. 1 more time, reaching up and over. And coming back to center, floating the arm down to the side. We're going to do a little dancing shoulder in the middle, and then the same thing on the other side. Left hand to the left side of the body somewhere, right arm, palm up, reaching up and over, leaning over to that left side. And then as you come back to center, turning the palm to float the right arm down to the side. Same thing again, firm in the feet and the belly, reaching up and over. And then back to upright, turn the palm and float your arm down. Last time, turning palm up to reach up and over. And then back to the center and reaching the arm down to the side. Relax both arms. Maybe just give the arms a little swing. And as you swing the arms backwards and forwards, the shoulders do this little shrugging motion, which is really nice, nice and loose. When you're ready, coming back to center, and we're going to reach the arms now out to the sides. And we're going to turn the left palm upwards and the right palm down and back if you can. So little turn in the hands there. And then we're going to roll the arms the opposite way. So we're going to try to do this with the arms and the shoulder joints rather than moving the whole chest, but we'll come to that. So moving the arms and the shoulder joints, just rolling one way and then the other, lengthening into the fingertips the whole time, keeping the press into the feet, the lift in the belly, the lift in the crown of the head. Just a nice roll backwards and forwards. Lovely job. And let's do about 3 more in each direction. It's quite hard work. We're drawing the shoulder blades towards each other a little as well to keep the arms nice and wide. And then when you're ready, you can float your arms down to your side. Just give your shoulders a little dancing shoulder and maybe a light swinging so that the arms are nice and relaxed, the shoulders release as well. Aces. And then we'll do this again, but we're going to allow the upper body to move with the movement. So as we reach the arms long, turning again the left palm upright and the right palm back, we're going to glide the right shoulder forward and then turn the arms and glide the left shoulder forward. So a little movement. You can even turn your head so that your upper back is moving as much as feels comfortable, but the neck is not rigid. It's moving as part of the spine. Little movement. Maybe you can feel the shoulder blades gliding about on the back a little bit. Maybe you can feel the rib cage more involved in the movement, the chest, the collarbones. Let's do 2 more to each side. This one is getting quite strong. That's okay to strengthen our arms this way. When you're ready, back to center, relaxing the arms down to your sides. Whoa, giving ourselves a little shimmer and a shake and a few shoulder rolls if that feels good. Aces. So having hopefully prepared the upper body quite well, let us focus on preparing to stand up. So I'm going to take this block and just pop it out of the way so that it's not creating a debris. Having the knees directly over the feet, nice firmness in the belly. And we want enough of the body on the seat that we don't feel like we're struggling for purchase there. So maybe even half of the thigh on the seat as well. So here we're coming to float up and down, but just the tiniest lift. So reaching forward to lift and lower. Using the arms for a bit of momentum, that lift and lower, beginning to press into the feet a little bit, activate the legs, get them prepared for the next action. Let's do this one more. And now we're going to lift and hold, hovering off the seat. For anyone who can't manage that, just keep doing the lift and lower. You'll get there very soon. So we're going to lift and hold briefly, hovering, and then lower down. Nice and firm in the belly to lift, floating the weight forward onto the center of the foot, and then back down. Lift and hold, and release. 2 more, lift and hold, and release. 1 more, lift and hold, and release. And then here, just giving yourself a little bit of dancing shoulder or any other kind of releasing that feels good. Before we come to standing all the way up, we're going to shift our weight right back into the seat so we can lengthen the feet forwards and do a little bit of pointing and flexing, getting the ankles ready for standing. So nice little pointing and flexing, and then rolling at the ankles. So nice ankle turns. Feels good. You can have your legs a little bit lower down. You don't need to have them all the way up, but if you are lifting the legs up here, then the fronts of the thighs are working to do that as well. Lovely job. And then maybe lowering the legs a little bit just to wiggle the toes around, pressing the big toe joints down, lifting the other toes, and vice versa, to get a little bit of rolling through the ankle there. And then when you're ready, shifting your weight forward. This time, as we do our sit to stands, we're going to stand up and then take a moment and then sit all the way back down again. So feet in a supportive position, belly muscles engaged. We're going to reach forward and float first, and then stand all the way up, opening the front of the body, maybe even letting the hips come slightly forward, and then reaching the arms forward, lengthening the hands forward as the tailbone comes back, and sitting lightly down, arms relaxed by the sides. Same thing again. Reach forward to float, and then stand all the way tall, maybe opening the front of the body, and then reach the hands forward and tailbone backwards, and lightly sit down on your seat. Let's do 4 more like this. Opening up. Oh no, not 4 more like this, 2 more. So we do 4 in total. 1 more like this. Lovely job. Opening up. We're going to sit all the way down, and then our final one is just a stand up. So we're reaching forward, standing all the way tall, and then floating the arms down to the side, and we're upstanding. We can give our hips a little bit of a wiggle, shoulders a little bit of a wiggle. I'm just going to move my chair to one side so that it doesn't interfere with this part of the practice. Oh, excuse me. And then taking yourself into any sort of comfortable stance. It doesn't need to be super wide, but perhaps a little bit wider than hip width, which helps us to feel secure, nice and soft in the knees, and gently twist from side to side. So here the idea is that we find that sense of release through the back of the body. Our erector spinae muscles go up either side of the spinal column itself, and they do lots of supportive work. So as we twist from side to side, they get a little sort of length and release, and contract and release as well. And in addition to that, we're keeping the shoulders nice and relaxed. The head just follows the movement unless you get dizzy, in which case leave your head a little bit centered. It won't make the practice any less than. It's just whatever suits your body the best. The arms can wrap around the body, tap the body wherever they fall. And a little bit of action here across the belly muscles really helps to make that whole movement feel really secure. And we get to work these muscles down the sides of the body, the obliques, when we do that. For anyone who wants to, you can pivot on your toes. So be aware that you might need to slow your movement down a little bit. You might need to hold on a bit more firmly in the belly muscles. You might then have to release a little bit more in the arms because they might have stiffened across the shoulders. When you're ready, if you'd like to, you can add a soft bend in the knees. You'll bend and twist, bend and twist. And just taking your time here, perhaps you can touch the opposite shoulder in front of you or the opposite side of the body behind you. Just allowing the hands to tap wherever they fall for a little bit of extra energetic stimulation. Lots of yoga is about stimulating the energy in our system, or balancing it, or freeing it if it's been stuck. When you're ready, you can bring your feet to stillness and just sway the arms across the body, a little bit from side to side. And we can reach as far to one side and then the other as we like. We can point the opposite toe away. So we've then got that heel lifting again. If you feel comfortable, You can raise the arms so they're either side of the head. They don't need to be close to the head. Be as wide apart as feels comfortable for your shoulders to keep that openness across the chest. We've still got that nice little bounce going on. It's really slow and steady. If you wish to, you can step the foot that's pointed slightly back. Now, this is just a nice to have. You don't need to do that, but if you want to, opens up the front of the body a little bit, requires a bit more balance. And for those who want to be really fancy, you can float that back foot off the floor. That requires a bit of one-legged balance. It's okay to slow it down. And it's okay not to do this bit at all. Keep going with whatever practice suits your body. We'll do one more to each side. And then we're going to let the feet come to steadiness, the arms to sway down to center, and we'll find ourselves standing tall, softening the shoulders down, finding length in the back of the neck, the head centered over the body, closing the eyes or gazing gently downward. Take a few moments to allow your breath and your heart rate to return to a normal rhythm or towards a normal rhythm. Feel the effect of your practice so far. Take a deep breath in, smile, and then sigh out. When you're ready, you can open your eyes and give yourself a little wriggling shoulder, wriggling hip. Super stuff. Really well done, everyone. So we are going to use these belts that we have got to hand, and we're going to do a series of drawing the belt further and further down, which I think we did last week as well. We certainly did it in the other class, so I'm pretty sure we did it in this one as well. And then we're going to do different positions of the body and try that as well. So first, we're going to just stand in our normal stance, a little soft in the knees, and we're moving the belt up to about chest height and then down again. We want to keep the belt taut if we can, moving up to chest height and down. And just notice how it feels in the shoulders as you move your arm up. Do you feel any catches or stiffness? This time we're going to bring the belt up to chest height, and then from here, pulling gently the hands apart to keep the belt taut, we're going to do any movements with the belt that feel good. So a little lift in the belly muscles, you can turn in the torso, you can swing the belt just from side to side if it feels good to lengthen one side of the body and then the other. You can do like a kayaking move where you get a little maybe softness across the knees as well and a little twist through the body. You can use the belt to reach in any direction, maybe even bringing it up over the head. I'll maybe step back so you can see a little bit better. Just moving it all around the body, moving the body around also at the same time. And we just want to do enough of this that we feel like we're getting some good movement through the rib cage and of the shoulder blades on the back of the body. And then when you're ready, you can just bring your belt or whatever length you're using around the neck and just soften the shoulders off. Let the arms be nice and heavy. Maybe give the arms a little swing so they're nice and low. And then we're going to do something that's really nice. I want to put the belt to one side for a moment to do this. So I recommend holding onto your chair with one hand. And so we're trying to provide a little bit of release to the shoulder joint itself. We're going to bend both knees and lean over from the hips so that our body is lengthened here and we can let the arm that is not on the chair hang and dangle down towards the floor. And then here you can just allow that arm to make a little gentle stirring motion, a little gentle circular motion, and then go the opposite way as well. Little lift in the belly muscles as you go, trying to keep the head nice and neutral as well. When you've done that on that side, you can bring your arm back to center and then just take a little bend in the knees to stand upright and feel the difference between the two sides of the body. And then the same thing on the other side, using your hand for support, bend in the knees, lengthen the tailbone so you're lengthened in the torso, relax the opposite arm now down towards the floor so it dangles straight down from the shoulder socket itself, and then doing a gentle stirring motion, a little lift in the belly muscles as you go, trying to keep the rest of your torso quite neutral, and then going the opposite way as well. And the weight of the arm provides the traction here, which creates a little bit of space in the shoulder joint, allows this movement to be really lubricating for the joint. And then when you're ready, bringing your arm back to center and bending the knees a little deeper to stand upright, give yourself a little bit of a shimmer. And for those who want to get really fancy, so when you're holding on to the chair, which actually you don't need to do up, you could do holding onto the chair seat and dangling the other arm. But when we do that, we stabilize and keep the other side of the torso quite rigid and still, which is fine, absolutely great if that's what suits your body to do. But if you are able to forward fold with both sides at the same time, so we've got this lift in the belly muscles and we can dangle both arms down. We don't need to get parallel to the floor, we just need to be forward folding enough, and then doing that circling motion with both sides at the same time. And if you don't want to do both sides at the same time, you simply do another round of one side each. One side at a time. We're going to go the opposite way as well. And just making sure that wherever you are, it feels good for your torso. And it might be that it actually feels better to be slightly tucked under and rounded through the spine. And that's great. If that suits you and it feels good, you can do that as well. Whenever you're ready to come up, we're just dangling the arms and then bending the knees to round ourselves back to an upright position. And in our upright position, just drawing the shoulders up and back and down. Find a moment of stillness, that lift and centeredness through the head, and then relax. Maybe give your arms a bit of a shake or your shoulders a bit of a roll if that feels good to you. So a really nice way to release tension from the shoulders and also to lubricate those shoulder joints. Excellent. And shown to me by one of the lovely physiotherapists who comes to my Tuesday and Friday classes. So a good one to have from the experts. So we're going to take our arms now, our belts rather now. Now we've done sort of that opening sequence, we're going to raise the belt over the head. So we want to come up a little bit higher and then lower down. So a little soft in the knees, firm in the belly, lengthened in the arms and taut in the belt. Not super strongly, but just enough. Raising up just that little bit higher and down. And here again, it helps to not have the head protruding forward, but to have the head centered over the torso. Coming up this time as high as you're able to. And if you can, you might need to widen your hands on the belt, but trying to get your arms either side of your head or thereabouts. It's okay to have them in your peripheral vision slightly in front of the head as well. And then here, we're going to lift and lower the shoulders, just a little wriggle up and down. And once you've done one more of those, then we're bending the elbows out to the side to draw that belt down to the top of the head. And then lengthening the arms, still keeping the belt taut and reaching up. Now we're going to bend the elbows and bring that belt down, if you can, to the back of the head. So just a little bit lower and then reaching up. And we're going to try to come lower every time. It might be a millimeter, it might be a centimeter. It might be no lower at all if you reach your limit. If you need to, widening your arms on the belt, but keeping the elbows back and down as you lower the belt. Lifting up again. And then maybe one more time, bringing the belt down to wherever it might reach, maybe even the top of the shoulders, the back of the neck, the bottom of the back of the head, reaching up. And this time we're going to lower the belt down in front of the body and just give our shoulders that little roll. Very nice. Now, because we have done this motion, we might need to just roll our wrists a little bit, because hanging onto the belt and gripping is sometimes quite hard work for the hands. So any movements that feel good, maybe rubbing the hands together, maybe interlacing the fingers and rolling the wrists, or making nice big rolls, thumbs into the palms, fingers around, and nice big rolls. So any of these movements are good. When you're ready, you can release, and we're going to use our chairs to step up onto. So here I've got my chair set up so the back is on the right side of the body. So I'm going to put my right foot up onto the chair. Now, if you are using a lower support, simply set your support up next to the chair, and then you'll be behind the chair instead of in front of it, so it might be the opposite foot. It doesn't matter which foot is forward. Oh, excuse me. We're going to start by just popping the belt down on the chair so we can easily reach it. And we don't need to worry too much about this foot that's on the floor. So you could square that foot so that it is pointing forward the same way as your hip. But if it's pointing slightly out to the side, which mine does quite naturally, it just means that it's in the right position for your hip. So find what feels good. And then here we're going to start with just a gentle lean towards the seat, and then, or lean towards the front knee and away. So we're holding onto the chair for support. The rest of the body is nicely lifted. There's a firmness across the belly. You can use your other arm on your waist or put it out to the side, or do something fancy if you really want to. And we're going backwards and forwards. Lovely job. So we can try angling that back foot to point forwards, completely forwards, and just see if that changes the response in the hip. Now, of course it does, because we've got a different position, but you might find that therefore that's a bit more useful as we just gently go inwards and outwards here. We want to do enough with the front leg that it feels supportive, but we're really looking for space in the back leg here. One more. Very good. And then here we can keep our front hand on the chair, and we're standing tall, and the hand of the leg that's on the floor, we're going to reach around the body. And my hand will go off the screen, but it doesn't matter what sort of circle you're making, as long as it feels nice. It could be really small here at the side if that's what suits your shoulder, but doing 3 more, as big circles as feels comfortable, just feeling all of that space we've created, that strength we've created across the body, feeling really nice. Last one. And then we're going to do a twist in the opposite direction. So all of those twists have been nice open twists. We're going to take that arm and wrap it over the body and reach for the chair. So we've got something on the chair, and then reach the other arm around the body behind. So we do a twist towards the knee, towards the chair back, shoulders down away from the ears, nice and firm in the belly muscles. If you wish to here, you can draw your hips towards the chair, but only do that if you're feeling really strong in, draw it forwards towards the front knee. Only do it if you're feeling really strong in the body and really stable on your feet. When you're ready to release out, come back to an upright position, bring the hand that's behind you forward, hold onto the chair, and bring the other arm across the body. Maybe turn slightly to that open position. Release the hand down, and we are gently going to bend that knee of the foot that's on the floor and step down with the other foot. So we've now got both feet on the floor. The foot that's been down all of the time might feel super grounded, like almost stuck in place, really, really secure. But we want to free it from the floor, so we're going to march in place. You can hold on or use your arms as well. And we're going to do a little downward dog with the back of our feet in between times. So this should hopefully feel really nice for the low back. We're going to step the feet away, soften the knees, lengthen the tailbone, and lengthen the torso. So it's almost parallel to the floor, perhaps. A little sway of the hips from side to side might be just the ticket. If not, you might like to stay in the center. You might like to turn your head from side to side. Wherever you are, thinking about lengthening, maybe rounding slightly with the back of the body, and then lengthening the front of the body, almost like a cat wave, rounding chin to chest, lengthening tailbone out. Maybe look towards the chair a little, not too much. One more like that. And then you can walk your feet in towards your chair feet. And I'm going to move my chair to the other end of the mat, but you can, of course, just turn around in your space if you'd like to. Very nice. So here we're doing the same thing to the other side. We just want to give ourselves an opportunity for a dancing hip or dancing shoulders if there's anything to release. And then holding onto your chair, step forward with the opposite foot. So I had my right foot on the chair on the previous round. Now I've got my left foot on the chair. And I can play around with that back foot. I might need a bit more space to have it maybe angling out to the side to begin with. We're going to draw the weight, forward towards the chair and release. Now, if this motion doesn't feel good for you, just simply stand upright because you will still get a sense of length and open. It's only if there's a bit more space to move into that you really need to move into it. Does that make sense? If it's there, we use it. If it's not there, we just stay where we are. Good job. One more forwards and backwards. And then we're going to try and square that back foot to point forwards, and the same thing again. So it feels differently in this front side of the pelvis. Front side of the back leg, the front side of its pelvis. As we move backwards and forwards. And if you've got any problems with your knees, you might not want to go quite so far forwards. Just doing what feels right for your body. Then when you're ready, you can stand upright, and this long arm that's associated with the foot that's on the floor, we're going to move around the body in a nice big circle. And that big circle might be smaller to you. It's okay if it is. Doesn't really matter as long as you feel that your belly muscles are working, the legs are quite strong here. And we're just expressing a movement through the torso while the legs remain nice and steady. Lovely twist for the body. One last time. And then we're going to take that arm across the body, hold on to our chairs, and then reach the other arm back behind us. So we're now in a standing spinal twist, softening the shoulders down, a little bit firm in the belly muscles. You can even lean into that front knee if it feels like a good place for your body to be. Doesn't need to. You can be completely upright and you still get a great twist through the body. One more deep breath in and out. And then we're going to unwind, bringing that back hand forward towards the chair and then turning a little bit back towards that open side and release. A little soft in the standing legs so we can step down with both feet. And again, feeling almost stuck to the floor, we do a little bit of walking in place. And then we'll do our downward facing dog with the chair. So walking your feet away, nice and soft in the knees, feet wide apart, and with the knees soft, we can do a little sway of the hips from side to side, lengthening one side of the hip and then the other. Or if you prefer keeping the hips in stillness, maybe doing a little dip of one shoulder and then the other, turning the head, making any movements that feel good. And here we're going to do a gentle rounding as well. So tucking the tailbone under, rounding the spine. So we're lengthening the back of the body up towards the ceiling, and then tucking the tailbone the opposite way, looking slightly forward, lifting the tailbone. So we lengthen the front of the body. So rounding forward, and then opening the front of the body as we arch ever so slightly back. Rounding forward one more time, and gently arching back. And then when you're ready, walking slowly towards your seat as you come to an upright position. The arms have done such a lot today, the shoulders, the upper back as well. Just giving them a final little roll here, maybe a little swing, maybe a shrug of the shoulders if that feels good, and any other movements that feel good to your body before we bring ourselves back onto our seats for relaxation. So I'm just going to dispense with my belt because it funks while I'm sitting on the chair. There we are. We were going to do some things upright with the belt, but I think that we've done enough today. So please feel free to put on your warm layers, as I am now, and grab a block for underneath the feet if they need it, and a blanket if you've got one to hand. Always nice to wrap yourself up cozy with a blanket. And hopefully you can feel as you come to sitting down just the freedom of your breath in your body. So the movement of your breath in your rib cage, across the back of the body, the sides. We're going to focus on this a little bit as we do our relaxation. So settle yourself really back into your chair seat. So much more of the legs are supported, and we can rest the arms wherever is comfortable. Excuse me. Settle, nestle yourself back and down into the chair and the floor. Take a moment to bring your body to stillness. Closing the eyes now if you haven't already done so. Taking a long, deep breath in and sighing out through the mouth. Repeating 3 more times. A long, deep breath in. Let all the effort of practice go. A long, deep breath in. Let your muscles begin to relax. Long, deep breath in and surrender your weight back and down. Allow your breath to find its natural rhythm and fall into quietness. Take your awareness into your forehead, feel it soften. Feel the area around your eyes relaxing. Your mouth, tongue, jaw releasing. Allow the whole of the body to feel heavy, warm, supported, softening back and down. Draw your awareness to your breath. Become aware of your natural, spontaneous breath. Become aware of the sensations of your breath. The the coolness of air coming in through the nostrils, the warmth of the breath as it leaves the body. Become aware of the sensation of your clothes moving on your skin as you breathe. Become aware of the sensation of your ribs moving as you breathe. Perhaps other parts of the body move too, but now, in this moment, being aware of the front of the body moving as you breathe. Notice where the breath is in the body. Notice the space that each new breath in brings. And the softness that each exhalation provides. Take your awareness to the sides of your body. Notice what parts of the sides of the body move as you breathe. Feel the ribs expanding out under the arms as you breathe in. Softening down as you breathe out. Move your awareness to the back of your body. Feel the sensations of the breath moving in the back of the body. Notice the feeling of the ribs moving back behind you towards the chair seat as you breathe in. And softening as you breathe out. Allow your awareness to expand to the whole of the body, the front, the sides, and the back, the tops of the shoulders, the bottom of the rib cage, soften your face and be aware of your breath moving your body into the space around you. Deepen your breath as much as feels natural to do so at this moment. And allow the body to relax a little deeper with every softening exhalation. Oh. Gently bring your awareness back to this time and this place. Feel your hands and your feet move, your fingers and toes. Maybe roll your wrists and your ankles. When you feel ready, take a deep breath in and stretch the body or even the face. And yawn, but stretch the arms away from the body. Oh, lengthening anything that needs lengthening. And when you're ready, you can gather yourself back towards center, perhaps sitting slightly away from the chair back now, maybe even turning your head from side to side. Any other movements, shoulder rolls that feel good. When you're ready, you can bring your palms together and rest them at the center of the chest. Lifting the torso tall, take your chin towards your chest. Give yourself that soft, gentle smile, knowing that you have devoted the last 60 minutes to your own well-being, to nurturing your body, your mind, your soul. And that will help ease your journey through this day and this week. When you're ready, raising your head, releasing your hands, opening your eyes. Thank you so much for joining in this practice. I hope you have enjoyed it as much as I did, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Namaste.